name is Nomsa Clara Mngbe. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Shows. So today I'm on my own. Speakers are having a day off. So today I will be talking about how systematic racism affects Black people in our society. Basically, racism, we can think of racism as it could be individual who are basically, it could be physical and it could be verbal abuse that we can call racism. It could be basically people discriminating people from their culture, background, and it could be basically racism can appear at work, women being discriminated because, or somebody being discriminated, like being racist towards them because of their color. Even no matter if people are racist towards you, no matter how educated you are, that can bring depression, it can bring all sorts of things in your life, and which is the Black people, they face those challenges in our society. I've basically chosen this topic because there's football, England. We're not talking about just England, we're talking about football as a whole. There's so much racism towards Black players. Basically, people believe that those players were, even though their parents are from outside the United Kingdom, they immigrated to United Kingdom, they still being classed as they were not born here. But some of those players, if I wasn't born in United Kingdom, I cannot play for United Kingdom. For me to play for United Kingdom, for England, I have to be born in the United Kingdom. So some people are not aware of that for a player to play for England, you have to be born, whether you're Black or white, you're born in the United Kingdom. So those players, do they have a right to play for UK teams? Yes, they do, because they were born in this country, whether they are Black, but they were born in this country, and that's why they get the opportunity to play in to play for England. And some people complain that there's so much color within the teams. It's a choice. Everything people do in life is a choice. If white players want to come and join the team, it's a choice. But those Black people, Black players, white players, it's been a choice. Their parents chose to sacrifice their lives. Taking somebody 4 days a week or 5 days a week for training is not an easy thing to do. So basically, their parents made a choice to say they are going to sacrifice their lives to basically to take their children to play, to practice, and for them to be where they are playing for England. That means they've played for other teams. They play for Chelsea, they play for basically Premier League, and that's why they qualify to play for England. And for them, those people to get there, it has not been easy. It has been training, it's been heartbreak, there has been maybe sleepless night for their parents wondering how they're gonna take them to the training. And then you have Black men who have qualifications, but they're being discriminated at work, basically because of their qualifications. When a Black person succeeds in life, there's got to be questions. how you got there. When you buy a nice car as a black person, you have to be questioned by the police. How you got there, how you got to where, how this person bought their car. You have to explain. Sorry, I'm trying to, while I speak, I'm trying to share. I've shared the video. So yeah, you have got to explain yourself. But in this world, we live in this world where the world is not just for white people, it's not just for black people, it's not just for, some people call it colored. It's basically, we were created by one person. So I'm going to share with you the video that I came across. So hopefully it's going to make sense. This video I came across with on YouTube. So I'm going to play this video.
One of Britain's bank managers, Dale Semper, a really successful bank manager. His mother Lynette has worked for the NHS for 20 years. His partner of 2 decades, Denise, works in human resources.
Yeah. He said he's too big to get kisses, you know.
And this is the story of how their happy, successful lives have been almost destroyed.
Say the car he's driving is worked for.
Stops when I'm driving cars and so on. I'm accustomed to it. I get it. Never liked it, but I understood, right? But this particular day when they've come out, it was so many police officers. And they said, we're here to arrest you for firearms. I'm like, firearms? I'm like, really? I said, no, you got the wrong person. I don't get this. I'm on my way to work. I'm a bank manager. I do not get this. And I'm arguing. I'm like trying to explain myself. I'm like, no, this can't be me.
It was the most traumatic experience ever. Being pulled over, and before you could blink, the handcuffs were on Dale. And he was pulled outside the car, and I was trying to understand what is going on. What did we do? Trying to get a sense from the cops and not understanding what's going on, and basically just being shouted at to stay in the car, be quiet. We're talking to him. Having this played out before somebody actually gave me some information. We're arresting him on firearm. I'm just like, okay, I can breathe now because I know what it is, and I know we don't have any firearms, so you know, let's let this play out.
Police told Dale he was being arrested for possession of a firearm, and they had a warrant to search his home.
So at that time, I'm thinking, you have about 15, 20 people here. What is that? What could I have actually done to have made something like this happen? Why are they here?
Around the same time, police were breaking into his mother's flat while she worked at the local hospital.
I worked for the NHS 20 years coming July. And to hear that guns going through my flat, are they crazy? And when I came home, I saw my door busted. So there's a padlock on my door. A lot of things were scattered on my house. All of my drawer with my panties, my bras, everything was pulled out, thrown on the floor. I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy.
Back at Dale's, the police's line of questioning, which he says he was later to learn underpinned the allegations against him, was how could he afford the things in his house? A nice car.
Because he's a black guy.
The police officer even said when they came in, how did you get to have all these things? I'm like, have all of what? I don't understand. And he's like, it's clear on one of the statements they've written, they say we're living above our means. I'm like, how can you know we're living above our means? You don't know what I do.
No firearm was found in his house, his partner's, or his mother's. And for the first, but certainly not the last time, the family thought that would be the end of it. But during the search, police found just under £2,000 in Dale's safe. Initially, the arrest was for firearms possession. Now, it was for money laundering.
How is it possible from firearm to money laundering? Something is not quite right. And from the onset, the undertone to this whole investigation was, look at us, we are black people. This is the reason why we've this is continuing and there is no end to this. We both go to work, we both put in our 9 to 5, we make sure we do that. You know, we didn't come from much, but we're making sure that together we're on the same page, we're doing it for ourselves, and, you know, we don't ask for anything. We're out there fighting for it.
Dale was suspended from his job at the bank. Police obtained a financial restraint order freezing all his assets. Dale, who owns a number of buy-to-let properties and with his partner shares a 6-figure income, says he couldn't even get £1 out of the cash point. Terrified, the couple replaced their legal aid solicitor with a private lawyer for several weeks, focusing on justifying all of Dale's financial dealings.
The information he provided was, I have an explanation. I've explained my assets, my finances. He produced, within 24 hours, a file because they said his watch, his jewellery, his possessions were all tainted items. So under the Proceeds of Crime Act 2002, they made the assertion that everything was part of the proceeds of crime. They have used shoestring or false intelligence that there's a young black man with no previous convictions driving a brand new X6, enjoying life, and then the next day he's the enemy of the state, where his assets, his finances are paralysed, his mental health compromised, his whole life is literally being watched.
7 weeks after it was put in place, the financial restraint order against him was dropped, as there was no lawful grounds for it to remain in place. He was awarded £10,000 in costs by the Crown Prosecution Service. Once again, Dale assumed this meant the case against him would be dropped. Once again, he was wrong. After months of asking, the Met Police finally provided the original warrant and details of the information they used to get it.
It actually said that I was involved in a sham marriage, money laundering, thinking what? I go by 4 different aliases. Thinking, okay, what? I'm into drugs, human trafficking, and the worst one was terrorism. I'm like,
Alongside this litany of enormous allegations, they also had to tackle a series of basic errors in the police information about Dale, a British passport holder born in Montserrat.
There is this element of being from Jamaica, which he isn't from Jamaica. I am Jamaican. I'm proud of being Jamaican. He has no links to Jamaica apart from me, but he's now it's part of what they're investigating. First, he's in the UK illegally. That's something that could have been quashed very easily. You know, he's got ties to trafficking. Trafficking, come on. It's like they've packed the case so highly for us to defend ourselves that it's gonna overflow, and the overflow is for him to end up in prison.
Still suspended from work for months and months, he was left in limbo.
One time he called me, he was going to the gym, and he called me, he said, Mommy, I'm at the park, and I was going to work. And he called me and he was crying, and he said, Mommy, I'm going crazy. Why are they doing this to me?
You could imagine hearing that from a child.
We'll play that later. We'll continue that later. So, see, this guy, what is going through as a black man in our society, it shows that basically black people, we have been labeled as we are not meant to succeed. We are not meant to drive. We are not meant to work hard and drive the cars of our dreams. This man, his wife, works very hard. He works very hard. But because of his lifestyle, he's a bank manager, and he earns good money. He's also a property developer, is into property, he's a property developer. Basically, that means his lifestyle, he's living his lifestyle, and he's buying cars because of his life, because of he can afford it. But he and his family have been traumatized. I came across with this story I think a few years ago, and I was actually shocked that I could actually go through that just because of my color. His family have been traumatized. like the same way the footballers have been traumatized, like the same way someone's child has been traumatized at school, like the same way someone else's child has been traumatized at work. But because of their color, racism, it could be, it's not just in black people, it's in white people, but black people is actually in the open. So someone else is being traumatized. This woman made sure that her child got education. This man has good education. He works very hard, and the family values that led him to be where he is, where he was, working hard, understanding the principles. And his family was traumatized because of being black and because of working hard. And the police asking him, how can you afford this lifestyle? Hell no. Where does it say that a black person cannot afford the lifestyle? Where does it say that? Tell me, which Bible? Where is it written on earth that says a black person cannot drive $100,000 car? Where does it say that? He was suspended because of the police investigation. He was suspended from his work. That means when the guy is suspended, if he didn't speak up, he would have gone to prison. A white person would have took his place just because he is black. Suspended his work, and his property, his company basically was destroyed just because he is a black man who lives in the community, in our society, who is rich, who has worked very hard. That led the police stopping him, wanting to know, well, how do you afford this lifestyle? How can you afford this lifestyle? So as a black woman myself, have I gone through that? Yes, I have. But it affects me when something has to involve the police. But my story has not affected me, because for me, when somebody is racist towards me, I feel that this person is demonic. There is no normality about that person. When somebody, if I am normal, there is no way that I can look at a white person and discriminate them. There is no way, if I am normal, that I can meet a black person, whether a white person, who are poor, and judge them. If I am normal, there is no way. There is no way that I can do that unless I'm demonic. So that's how I look at people. When somebody is being racist towards me, I say this person he has demon in them, because there is no way that a human being can judge another human being in a way that it can go to court, in a way that it can go to the police. There is no way. In America, black people, you wear a hoodie, you represent crime. But black hoodie is our style. When you wear a hoodie, that means you are carrying a gun in your pocket. But we are black people, that's how we dress. So if you dress like that, that means you are into crime. But we have to be united. There is no way in the Bible that the guy says he created the earth. He doesn't say I created black and white to be discriminated, or white people to be discriminated, or black people to be discriminated. We all do the same thing. We all go to school. Basically, when we sit, the teacher speaks. We all holding pens. We are all writing. There is no special or white people that they do something. We are all writing. When the teacher says, put your hands up, a black person and a white person, we both put our hands up if we know the answer. We write exams. We graduate. the same. Business, some black people, white people, they don't want to go to school because they have already smart, they already know what they want in life. They just go and start their own businesses. We all use our mind to get to where we are. There is no shortcut of a black person doing shortcuts. There is no shortcut for a white person doing shortcuts. Discrimination. Why discrimination? We all study. I'm here today. I had to study the things that I had to use my mind to study. I have a business. I had to make a choice. And that choice, it comes with a sleepless night. A white person, they start a business, sleepless night. The same way that I have sleepless night. So why do they have to be better? Do they have to, when they're driving a nice car, it is okay. But when I work, have a sleepless night. When I get up at 5 a.m., 5:30, 4 a.m., to build the life that I want. It's not okay for me when I'm building a life that I want. I'm driving a nice car for the life that I have worked for. It is not okay for me to drive that car. I have to be stopped by the police to investigate how did a black woman made that money to be able to afford this car. Why is it not okay for me to drive an expensive car? Why is it not okay? Where is it written? If somebody said, where is it written? If there is somewhere is written that black people should not be living their lifestyle. Come on, we all work very hard. We all work very hard. There is no shortcut. White people, they get up at 4 a.m. They read the book, the same books that they are reading for them to succeed. I'm reading the same books. I'm following the same values and same beliefs for me to succeed of a successful person. A millionaire has a mind of working long hours, short sleep. I do the same. But just because I'm black, it doesn't mean I can't drive the car that I want. Somebody's child never made it home because of their color. Somebody's wife, somebody's husband never made it home because of the color. They never made it home. As I speak today, there will be somebody who has died through racism around the world. But that somebody has parents. That somebody has a wife. That somebody has a husband. But they've never made it because somebody decided their lives that moment, that just because of your color, because of being black, not because of their character. Because a color does not define who I am in my society. It does not define me. But my character would define me, who I am, who I stand for. Hey Langelishe, how you doing? You guys can comment if you have your own comment or whatever you've been through, you can comment. My color does not define who I am. Being black, it doesn't define me. It doesn't say that just because Nomsa is black, it doesn't mean Nomsa you cannot buy a private jet. It doesn't mean that Nomsa you cannot basically buy $100,000 car or 1 million car. It is my money. I can buy it and I can drive it because I work for it. The police have a right. Hey, Sis Mbale, how you doing? Did the police have a right to stop me driving my car? Maybe they have a right by the law, but if I bring the evidence, this is who I am, this is what I do, they need to back off. They need to back off. Just because you're black or just because what color you may be, it does not define you. Your character defines you. The choices that you make in life, they define who you are as a person. But wearing a hoodie does not define me as a criminal. Driving a nice car, getting promoted at work, it does not define me as a criminal. That another race has to make my life a living hell. Oh yes, that is so true. It's in the private school. That is very, very true. It's very, very, very true. When you are seen as a black person, and some people, they'll be like, my daughter goes to a private school in the UK. The first thing when people say, where does your daughter go? Which school does she go to? The moment I mention the school, how do you afford to do that? Because as a black person, but I work for my children. And I work. I left home because that life that I had in Africa, it wasn't enough for me. I wanted to change my life. I wanted to learn British culture. I've learned British culture and I've worked on myself. Just because I'm black, it doesn't mean my children cannot go to a private school and have a good education. My color doesn't define who I am. I know our ancestors went through so much through slavery, but that does not mean that we have to go through it. We have to go through slavery on earth while we're working. We don't have to go through that. We don't have to go through that. We don't have to go through slavery. So I'm going to play this video again, another part. Let me play it, see what his life ended up being. Yeah, let's see what happens next.
Oh dear, it's a nightmare I can't wake up from.
Yeah.
How dark was it for you?
It was really, really bad. It got to the point where sometimes I felt like I didn't even want to be around. And she's like, don't hurt yourself. Promise me you won't hurt yourself. Me and my mother, we went through so much, and I never wanted her to have looked back at me and say,
he wanted to kill himself.
My son has amounted to. It was such shame. It was a shame.
18 months after he was first arrested, he's arrested again at 20 to 7 in the evening on suspicion of possession of firearms. None are found. At 7:15, just 35 minutes later, he is de-arrested.
People will say there's no smoke without fire. It's entirely possible that the Met Police would say, we had credible intelligence that justified this investigation.
This started off with false intelligence. A man of no previous convictions.
Very sad, it's very, very sad.
A firearm in his life. An explanation of every penny he's ever earned in his life, from pay slips to tax returns to cash. The question I'd be asking myself as I was looking at this case would be, to go this far, surely, with all the costs, God knows how much the financial investigation and the CPS spent on this very 26-month case in the public purse, as well as my client defending himself privately, you'd think that there was something. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing.
Dale's lawyer says from the beginning, police obtained warrants based on a wholly inaccurate portrayal of Dale's character, and that if he'd been a white bank manager, this would never have happened. On the 11th of October, the Met Police tell Dale's lawyer, no further action will be taken in the case.
But the
was
guy
no
has been
apology.
destroyed.
I've had to become the best bank manager for years, for quite a few years. It's something of memories of my past and what I've achieved. But the person I was before now, I feel like that person is now gone. Like I said, I feel like something has been taken away from me, and I feel like I can never get that back. If when someone rings my doorbell or even knocks on my door, automatically I think someone is there to get me. If I'm driving and I see a police siren coming up, even if it's an ambulance, I'm thinking someone is trying to get me. Constantly. I just can't get it out of my head.
Dale is back at work, though at a lower grade. His hopes of becoming a director in the bank all gone. It's already cost him around £140,000 in legal costs. He's very conscious of others in a similar situation who couldn't afford to defend themselves. He now intends to sue the Met for damages. The family hope for an apology.
It's just really hard to kind of like think, okay, the investigation's over, so okay, we can now breathe. I don't think we will ever be able to breathe.
Their lives will never be the same.
That people
Their lives
around me, they
basically
would
has
know
been
that I was
destroyed.
innocent. I just feel that if you're good people and you're doing things correctly, in the end, you will prevail. It will happen. It has to happen.
Well, in response, the Metropolitan Police Service said, given the potential legal action, it would be inappropriate to comment in detail on the case. However, they said they recognise the very serious nature of the allegations made and they will be fully investigated. They say they work every day in and with communities on an intelligence-led basis to tackle serious crime and add, where officers have not acted correctly, they will take the appropriate action to ensure the public can continue to have confidence in how they police London. Well, I'm joined now by Victor Elisa, the Metropolitan's former head of diversity and head of policing in Tottenham. Thanks very much for joining us this evening. I just wondered, I know you've seen the film, what do you make of it?
It sounds a harrowing sequence of events for Dale and his partner and his mother. 26 months of what must have been hell for him to get to a position when the case is dropped. I mean, the reassuring thing is the Met are saying they are serious allegations, they're going to investigate it thoroughly, and that must be some consolation at this stage to Dale that there will be a thorough investigation and hopefully something positive will come out of it.
I mean, when you became head of diversity at the Met in 2016, you said that the Met still discriminates against black people, falling behind negative stereotypes. Do you accept that that still seems to be true in some instances in this case?
Well, you know, at this stage, this is an allegation and there needs to be an investigation, but taking the information that we have and the 10.5 minutes of video that you've shown, there are many, many things there to actually explain, and some of them is very, very easy to turn around and say, is it because he's black? And that was asked in the footage that you've just shown. You know, would that happen to a black manager? Would that happen if Dale had been a white, black manager? And sometimes it's very, very difficult to not be tempted to say, no, it wouldn't have happened if he was a white bank manager. And some of the things that have happened to him, were they because he was black? And again, as is shown in your footage, living in a nice house, you know, an expensive commodity, and there's the allegation or the questioning of how could he afford that, purely and simply because of the skin of his colour. So that footage indicates.
I mean, speaking more widely, these negative stereotypes that you raised when you were head of diversity at the Met, they matter, don't they? Because you said yourself that it can lead to police using disproportionate force against black people. And that is a real issue that is so pertinent at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we're all going through, living through the killing of George Floyd in the United States. We see on social media here footage of black elderly men being tasered, and we read in our newspapers not necessarily the violence but the disproportionate issuing of fixed penalty notice for people who have broken the lockdown. All these things paint a picture, and it paints a picture where it sometimes is very difficult to move away and not make the assumption that, you know, is there some racial motivation behind it. And in essence, it leaves the Metropolitan Police as an organisation in a difficult place because they're always, they seem to be on the back foot when these stories come out, and they have to work really hard to either be proactive and stop these stories coming out or have an explanation beforehand, because they need to work even harder to get to a position where they can explain the rationality behind some of these stories that just look unacceptable and point towards the allegations of the Met might be policing in a way that's discriminatory and racially discriminatory.
Victor, Elisa, I'm sorry, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you
so much for talking to us this evening.
Thank you very much.
That was a story. That was a story. Basically, the guy, he had dreams, and his dreams have been stripped away from him, of being a black man who just wanted to climb the ladder and become who he wanted to become. His family, his wife, as he explained, that every knock at his door when he hears the ambulance, he feels that somebody's coming to get him, just for being educated, just for wanting to basically climbing the ladder after ladder, because you have to study. When you start being a bank manager, for you to get promoted to go to the second level, third level, you have to keep studying. You have to keep the training. Basically, he, as a man, he basically has got children, he's got his wife, he's got his mother, and all those people around him, his friends, their lives have been destroyed just by the police. There must be somebody, police cannot just stop him. There must be somebody or a white person. I was watching the video in America. There's this guy, he lives in a very, very expensive area. He has his own private pool. Basically, this woman, I don't know whether she works there or she works in a different department. Basically, she was gone there to harass him, to get him out, chucking him out of the pool just because he's black. So the guy, yes. So the guy it is a really demonic force, Sisimali. That is true. It's a demonic force. So the guy is asking himself, why are you kicking me out of my pool? He's showing the woman the keys. She's like, get out, call the police. And the police comes, and the guy is like, but this is my pool. Just because I'm black, it doesn't mean I can't afford it. So he is black. He has a job. We all go to school. I'm a black woman. I send my children to school. I work for my children. I work and I have to sit down every single day, making sure that they're reading books, making sure that the lifestyle that they want to live when they are older, it requires reading books. It requires not watching TV 24/7. But then when they are older, somebody else who doesn't know my tears, the tears that I went through, the tears that my children went through, having to study, having to become who they are, that moment will come and discriminate them. But that is, I call it demonic. I don't call them racism. I call them, they are demons. They have demons in them. I just look at them and say, you're going to be racist to me? That is demonic. Because there is no one in their right mind that can discriminate a human being just because of their color. People can be discriminated because of their character, but not because of their color. The children at school, like you were saying, Bali, when they go to school, is discriminating. So who says, my daughter was telling me they went to this park once and they wanted to take, I don't know what they've lost, so they wanted to collect their possessions. And this woman was telling them off, saying, how do we know that all this thing, it is yours? Because some of the friends, they're all black. My daughter, she's mixed race. Basically, she's black, she's British, black African. Although she's white, but British, black African, that's who she is. She's black. So because they had black friends, they are black. And this woman was saying, how do we know it is yours? And they were like, come on, woman. She said, actually, one of the girls there, I think she's from Nigeria. Her parents are Nigerian, but she was born in the United Kingdom. She was like, listen, young lady. We go to a private school. We pay thousands and thousands of pounds. So there is no way that we can steal some bag that is cheap and claim it's ours. It's a cheap bag, but it's ours. And they started describing what is in the bag, and the woman just gave them the bag. So that it shows that there are so many things that are going on in this world when it comes to the things that we basically, people don't understand that we are all one. No matter what color you are, we are all one. Martin Luther spoke about peace, that if we don't find peace within us, within ourselves, we will destroy humanity, which is that has led George Floyd being on the grave, is led somebody else's child on that grave. We will destroy humanity. He was speaking the truth, that if we don't find peace, our humanity will be destroyed. We have to find peace within ourselves. He spoke about mankind. If we want to survive, we should study in non-violence principles, so that we can have peace in our nation, so that we can have peace in our society. So one day, he basically said one day we'll be sitting, his dream was humankind, black or white, to sit on one table sharing a meal as brothers and sisters. Some men suffer discrimination. This man that we're watching right now, he suffers discrimination. His life was stripped away from him by the society, by the police, whose job is to protect the society, but they stripped his life away from him. He insisted that we should live together as one. Martin Luther spoke about how life is a secret. And it is a secret. It's a secret that has landed someone's child losing their lives because people do not understand. Police are visually, violently bloodshedding in our society because of discrimination of black. So how do we live as a nation? How do we live as one? If there's so much bloodshed in America, there is so much, we have to speak the truth. In America, there's so much bloodshed towards black people, the police stamping on people's head, gun on somebody's head. I've watched so many videos. Police is mostly, I've never seen a black police basically shooting a black guy. It's mostly white police shooting black guys, some because they are wearing hoodies, some because they are hanging out in the community where they shouldn't be, is for wealthy people. I have no idea where is it written that black people shouldn't hang out in a wealthy community. I don't know where is it written, but the police, bloodshed. In America, there's a lot of cases, bloodshed. The United Kingdom, we're starting to having it now. That is demonic. That means the world needs peace. The world needs to. We need to go on our knees and pray for the world. Our ancestors, black ancestors, went through slavery. It seems like this dream is being relived. That although the slavery stopped, but we are still being seen as slaves. We are slaves. So we have to live slave in fear. We have to live in fear. When my child goes out, I have to have a sleepless night. When she goes to a party, I have to have a sleepless night if she's gonna come back home because of her color. When someone else's husband who is black, they go out to a wedding, to a party to celebrate somebody's birthday, that wife or husband, he has to worry if his wife is going to make it home, if her husband is going to make it home because of her color. But we are one. My color doesn't define who I am. But my character does. Let's see, what does God say about all this? The scripture, where is the scripture? What does God say? I think there's a scripture. Where is the scripture? I think it's in Mark. Mark somewhere. Where did I put the scripture? Love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. That was when Martin Luther spoke about black people in our society. He said, one day we'll be judged by our character, not by our color. One day we will be judged by our character, not by our color. And I'm praying for that day to come. I'm praying for that day when somebody sees me and judge me by my character and sees me as a normal human being. I have parents my mother gave birth to me, whether I'm black, it doesn't matter. But my mother gave birth to me. They worked hard for me to be where I am today. My parents worked hard. Teaching your child principles, that is hard work. And making sure they understand the principles when they alter who they become, that is hard work. So if I'm getting promoted or if I'm running my business, it shows that I come from a family. It shows that I understand the principles. I have worked on the principles. I have studied the books that you have studied. It shows that I have listened to the audios that you have listened. It shows that I have read the Bible, that you have read and understand the principles and prayed to God for my business, for breakthrough for my business. It shows that I have worked on my principles. So do anyone have a right to discriminate me based on my color? No. Do I have a right to discriminate somebody based on their color? I don't have that right. I'm not their creator. When children go to school, we have to worry if they're going to make it home. To those children, where do they learn it? Social media. Obviously, somebody must have studied for children to learn about racism. Social media, parents who are racist. If I'm racist, that means my children are going to be racist. Or if I'm not racist, that means their friends are racist. It's everywhere. It's the environment where the children are in. It's the environment where the parents are in. It's their mindset. So my life is not going to be defined by somebody who does not understand the secret of life. Martin Luther spoke about it. Life is a secret. What's my secret? It means that my secret is that I come from Africa, where I didn't have the privilege to have the things that I have. That led me wanting to travel around the world, learn about the world, learn about somebody else's culture, learn about their principles. That led me to go to university and study, to become what I am today, to understand the psychology of life, to understand God is a kingdom. I had to read the Bible. I had to study. I didn't just get up in the morning and just had somebody hit me in the head and said, in the name of Jesus, Nomsa is going to be by magic. Nomsa is going to be who she wants to become. No. I said, in the name of Jesus, Lord, show me my secret about my life. Who should I become? Who am I meant to be? And God said, read the books. And God said, go to college. Whatever you want to be. If you want to run a business, read books about business. Do some research. Think about the business. What kind of a business do you want to start? The niche. What kind of clients would you like to serve? I didn't get up just one day and became who I am today. I had to study. I had to pay for somebody. I had to pay a coach to come and coach me what the things that they know that I don't know. I had to spend thousands and thousands of pounds. And then somebody will enter my life and discriminate me, not because of my character, but because of my color. That's why I call them demons. I call them they're demonic. Because having to actually go through that, God created the earth, no humankind. Humankind, this earth was created for us to live freely, freedom. My ancestors, I have white ancestors. I have black ancestors. White people have black ancestors. If you look at the blood test, everyone take blood test. Everyone has a black blood. Everyone has a white blood. That means we are all related. We are related. So if anyone that has been discriminated, if there is anyone that has been discriminated because of their color, not because of their character, because of their color, that person needs to know that the people that discriminated you, they don't define who you are. They have no say about your life. They cannot affirm who you are as a person. If you didn't make me, this is my slogan. If you didn't make me, you cannot define me. You cannot define me. God created me. My mother gave birth to me. My father had sex with my mom. And I was created, but God knew me before that happened. So anyone that comes after, they don't know my story. They don't know how the path that I had to walk to be where I am today. They don't know it. They just meet me. And then their job is to discriminate me, and my job is to accept it. Hell no. But unfortunately, some people had to go through death. They had to go through death by losing their loved ones through discriminating, through racism. So I cannot compare my life to those families who have lost their loved ones through racism. And let God bring judgment upon those who have killed people through racism. George Floyd, his wife and his children, they lost the man that came home every single day. That was a father, that was a husband. They lost that person. That was their child. His parents lost their child. Somebody else went through that I don't know, but they went through that. May the judgment of God be upon those people who are bloodshedding innocent people because of their color. And may the Spirit of the truth testify for black people, for black people in our society, and speak the truth. And if there's any black person out there who is listening, or white person, whatever your color might be, if you are not following your dreams because you are scared that people are going to judge you, you have to know that people are crazy. Whatever good or bad you do, people are going to judge you. So you have to know that, work on your character. Whatever you desire, if it is a child who is at school being bullied, being discriminated because of their color, those kids who are discriminating you, or the teachers actually, they're racist. They cannot define you. They cannot define you. There are so many speakers who are saying, I became who I am because my teacher told me I cannot become this, I cannot become that. There are so many children who have lost their dreams, who stopped following their dreams because they were told on the street that they cannot become who they want to become by other children, by somebody else's parents who is racist. So if whatever color you might be, if you are watching, no one can define your destiny. Only you can define who you want to become. Only you can work on your character, and the choices that you make at that moment, they will define who you are as a person. No one can define you. No one. That's why Martin Luther says life is a secret. It's between you and God. You pray to God in secret. And that decision of who you're going to become is being decided by God. And being decided by you to receive your breakthrough. So that's why life is a secret. No one can stop you. They can stop you if they kill you. If you're watching this video, anyone who becomes racist, look at them in their eyes and say, God, please take the demon out of this person in Jesus' name. Don't get angry. It hurts. When someone is discriminating you because of your color, it hurts. But don't get angry. Sleep on it. And act by working on your character, by working on who you want to become. God bless you, everyone. My name is Nomsa Clara Mnube. I'm here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time with the speakers at Ngosi Talk Shows. So if you are watching this later, you can go to our page. If you want to contact any of the speakers that you want to get in touch with, you can go to our page at Ngosi Talk Shows on Facebook, and we are on YouTube as well. You can go on YouTube and get in touch with us, or you can go to my website, www.hseia.com, and fill the form and get in touch with me. Then let me know which speaker you want to get in touch, or your desires. If you are looking for love, you can fill out the application form on my website, and then I get in touch with you. God bless you and live with grace. Sister Mbali, thank you. I wish I knew how it could be to be free. I wish I can break all the chains holding me. I wish I can say all the things I should say as a black person. God bless you.